I'll be honest, I do not feel good. I am really pretty sick, which is why I had to cut stream early the other day. I took a skinny dip in a Lazarus pit to be able to make this video before March 25th. What's happening on March 25th? You've seen the leaks. Bambu Labs is coming out with the H2D sometime in the near future. Based on the images we've seen, it looks like the H2D will have at least 2 nozzles active in a dual extruder configuration. So not IDEX, just DEX. The more exciting developments suggest that this printer will also be able to equip a drag knife and laser cutter. It's these 2 additions that I want to focus on for this video. First off, it would seem that the H2D checks off a lot of boxes I outlined in a previous video. There, I talked about what I would like to see from the next generation of Bambu Lab printers. The question then, will I be getting one? We'll talk about that towards the end. A laser cutter is definitely something to be excited about. There are so many things that can be made with a laser cutter, and it finishes a project much faster than a 3D printer. For example, if you cut plastic panels like acrylic, you can make structural pieces for a larger project. Compared to a 3D printed equivalent, these will be more isotropic and consistent with their physical properties. In addition to this, you gain access to a number of materials that simply can't be printed, like leather. I've looked at getting an independent laser cutter many times in the past. The only things holding me back have been the learning curve, cost, and space required. The H2D very likely goes a long way towards solving many of these hiccups. For all my recent criticism of Bambu as a company, I can't deny that they make an easy to use and reliable product, and I would expect the same to carry over with a laser cutter and drag knife option as well. Evaluating these photos to the best of my ability, it would also appear that Bambu has done their homework in regards to hardware. There are a number of laser cutters available on the market today that frankly should be illegal for the danger inherent in their design. This applies to any laser cutter that does not fully enclose the workspace. There's a trend among these to have a small plastic window around the diode to enclose the beam. This is simply not adequate. If you catch a stray reflection, or you don't have your Z offset right for a laser, you can blind yourself in less time than it takes to blink. These are high-powered implements and should absolutely be taken seriously. So a full enclosure is a minimum requirement. Then, we need to consider the process that is occurring with a laser cutter. You are using focused energy to ablate away material. Compared to a 3D printer that softens something with heat, a laser is intentionally causing combustion to burn away at the focal point. If you've ever handled laser cut wood, that's why you get a layer of char on the perimeter. This means that there is always a higher base level of risk when using a laser cutter compared to a 3D printer. This ignition risk can be greatly mitigated with proper ventilation. A robust ventilation system is also helpful for removing bad smells and potential breathing hazards from the environment. This part isn't a surprise for any 3D printer enthusiast. When things get hot, they stink. Sometimes that stink is also harmful. It just gets kicked up a notch when now we're burning things, as is the case with the laser cutter. Ventilation also gets applied at the focal point in a feature called air assist. This basically blows out the candles before they can light. By keeping a constant stream of air on your material, you can cool it and prevent fires from starting. It looks like Bambu has considered all of this, and that is very reassuring. At least as far as I can tell from the photographs. The workspace is fully enclosed, and all the transparent glass has been replaced with green translucent panels. This is typical of laser enclosures as a way to filter out dangerous wavelengths from escaping. There's also an emergency stop shown in the photo, and the presence of tubing has me hopeful that there is some kind of air assist. We can for sure see that the ventilation is much larger than what we have in the current X1C, and this is all great news. I'm not going to talk nearly as long about a drag knife. It's much more simple and carries much fewer concerns overall. You can use this to make decals, stickers, stencils, and anything else you can think of from thin materials. This is a nice bonus overall, and I would love to make vinyls of my YouTube channel to slap on all my projects. That's all I really have to say about that. Now the big question. Will I be getting one? Not likely. While this printer does seem to offer so much of what I stated I would want in a next-gen printer, we need to consider the background that comes before this. My last two videos talking about Bambu Lab were highly critical of their recent policy updates. Now that we've seen a lot more information come out about the H2D, it does lend a lot more credence to their security concerns. For all the reasons I outlined before, a laser cutter is inherently more dangerous than a 3D printer and poses a very legitimate fire risk. So, I'm willing to give a lot more grace that their intentions were truthful in wanting to improve security. When you consider how much market share Bambu scooped up seemingly overnight with their printers, it makes sense that they'd want to address security concerns, at least before sending out little fire starters across the globe. Compared to a company like Xtool and FlashForge that command more of the limited run manufacturer market and therefore more professional users, Bambu is a name that just about everybody has heard. If they don't have things secure, that makes them a much bigger target for attack compared to their competition. But they haven't made things more secure. I'm not talking only about the fact that the keys for Bambu Connect were cracked in 24 hours. Rather, the methods they are using do not offer the security they are looking for, and there are a number of more proven alternatives that would be less cumbersome for the end user. Bambu Connect relies primarily on something called security through obscurity. In essence, if you are the only one that knows a key piece of information, then you are the only one that can use it. If STO is the only layer you have, though, all it takes is for one person to figure that bit out, and your security is gone. In the modern world of the internet, it's not an if that will happen, but rather a when, as evidenced by the comically short window before the first cracking of keys. Now, the world of network security quickly goes above my head, and I don't claim to be any kind of expert. I'll link a few videos below if you are looking for more information on the subject. Looking at Bambu's behavior, though, when these concerns were first raised, is enough to give me pause and cast doubt on their security implementation. Here's the facts. On January 16th, Bambu announced the upcoming security changes. This caused an immediate uproar in the community as many people started to look into how that affects the terms of use and functionality of their printer. Bambu responded not with a retraction, but rather a stealth edit of the original article and a request to delist the original from the Wayback Machine. Because the internet truly is forever, you can still read the original on a number of Wayback alternatives. Granted, the changes are denoted in the second version, and there doesn't seem to be anything listed in either version that is not in both. However, the request to delist something from the Wayback Machine and the fact that they don't explicitly outline these in a more clear manner does still give me pause with their practices. Then, on January 20th, Bambu released another update that is riddled with blatant lies about content creators like myself and their own words. Of particular note is item 7.4 in the terms of use that raised much concern during this initial outbreak. Your Bambu Lab product will automatically search for and download new update packages to provide you with timely update services. These updates are designed to resolve cybersecurity loopholes and prevent new threats, and it is important to accept and install security-related system updates in a timely manner. Due to the importance of these updates, your product may block new print jobs before the updates are installed and will immediately provide update notifications to help you understand the related information. As of writing this video, this is still present in the document. Bambu has claimed that they will not brick your printer if you refuse to update, and have further stated that they will not stop your printer from operating. But this essentially boils down to, we will not do the thing expressly outlined in our contract. I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable trusting anyone in a he said, she said scenario, especially when you are both of those parties, Bambu. They additionally exaggerated their efforts to work with the developers of OrcaSlicer, who have come out publicly stating that due to the breakdown in negotiations, they would not be attempting to support Bambu Connect in any capacity. Everything they had asked for had been shot down, and these negotiations were lip service at best. So if you plan to use OrcaSlicer in any meaningful capacity, these newer updates simply aren't for you. This to me, however, outlines a pattern of deceptive practices that make me think hard about whether I will be purchasing any future Bambu products. I don't trust you to secure your fire risk and allow it in my home if this is how you treat that trust. However, I do strongly believe in repentance and forgiveness. If Bambu retracts their harmful statements about creators, refines the terms of use to be more clear, addresses the legitimate security concerns that do exist, comes clean about this scandal at large, and stops pushing half measures and non-solutions like Bambu Connect and STO, then I am willing to forgive and forget. It's not hard to get in my good graces, you just have to commit to doing the right thing and follow through. If they don't do any of those things, very likely scenario, there is a potential plan B that still sees me benefiting from an H2D, custom firmware. My X1C has been running the X1 Plus firmware since the security update was announced. It was incredibly easy to do and has become even more streamlined than shown in the teaching tech video that I was using as a tutorial. This takes far less than an hour to do and is largely automated, only requiring your input at a few key steps. I'll be keeping an eye on the X1 Plus team to see what they are able to do for the H2D if anything does result from that. Of course, I'll also be looking out for any other jailbroken firmwares that become available as well. Plan C? Well, while Bambu was the first in many ways with their flagship X1C, they didn't stay the only option for very long. There's a number of very competent alternatives that exist today offering identical functionality at competitive prices. I'd expect that if the H2D takes off, there will be a number of alternatives soon to follow. I myself have started to do the research required to make the dream printer I described in my previous videos. With all this said, I won't be pre-ordering an H2D. It would be pretty hypocritical of me to go back on that now, and I very likely will not consider getting one in the near future after its release. Bambu does need to make some big strides to change my mind, but it's not impossible for them to do. Short of that, I'll be looking at alternatives and ways to make my own walled garden without being wholly reliant on Bambu. If you found this topic interesting, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. I cover a variety of subjects in gaming and engineering, and your support is what makes this possible. But until next time, this is Odd Job Entertainment, signing off.